Hello friends, and welcome to the start of another week. What did you guys think of my new little intro? I quite like it. I think I'm going to keep it around. Whew, the nausea game is real today, so I'm trying not to move as much as possible. But I am doing some mending right now. I am just fixing some little holes in these dresses. I actually get quite a few messages and comments about my clothing and my style, and I realized that some of the brands that I wear sometimes are kind of expensive brands. My favorite definitely being Free People. Their clothes are very expensive, so I actually very rarely ever buy new clothes. I buy a lot of used and thrifted items from online stores or from eBay, which means they don't always come to me in perfect condition. They don't always fit right, so I end up doing a lot of mending, which is usually super easy. It's usually just a couple little holes here and there, and so that allows me to afford some of the expensive brands that I wouldn't necessarily be able to buy. And I am not the best seamstress by any means. I would describe my sewing skills as like the last 5 minutes of Project Runway when they've like thrown caution to the wind and they're like duct taping the model into the dress. But you know, I make it work. The only thing to be careful about when ordering stuff from online is detergent, allergen, smoke. Usually it'll say in the description like from a non-smoking home or something like that, but they don't have to label, you know, animals, cats, dogs, detergents. So when I do get stuff in the mail, it usually goes straight in the wash or straight into our mudroom to hang up and air out for as long as it takes for me to be able to even work with it. Usually after a few washes or a month or two hanging in the mudroom, everything's good. These days we're so quick to get rid of clothes or throw stuff out when they get like a little hole or a stain or the hem starts to come undone. And I think that's kind of sad. But hey, I guess I get to reap the benefits. Hello guys, it's Tuesday now. I'm about to go to sleep. I am so exhausted, but today was probably like the most dramatic improvement I have ever felt from a PT session. I almost felt like I couldn't go to the appointment, but I just knew I had to get there. I did it and like it was incredible. Like my PT, she is amazing and she just like lined up my neck. But she was like, yeah, your neck is pretty screwed up today. At this point, I've pretty much decided that it isn't something that can be fixed with PT. It is got just too many things going on. So it looks like I will probably be having surgery when I am down south, which I don't really know how I feel about it. I guess I kind of like knew that that's what was coming, so I want to get it over with. I want to just do it and get it done so that I can get back on track and start rebuilding those muscles again. It's a little bit frustrating because I feel like I've just been working so hard this past year to finally build back some of those muscles that I had lost during all of those surgeries. It's just really devastating to think about starting from the beginning. So I was just feeling a little bit frustrated because I was feeling like, but now I'm back in bed, I'm losing strength, my eyesight is getting worse again, and my mast cells are flaring, and my weight is dropping, and I'm just losing all of the progress that I have made in this last year that I have worked so hard for. But my therapist was so sweet and reminding me today that like I am so much better off than I was a year ago when she started seeing me. When I started seeing her last year, my hips wouldn't even stay in joint. I couldn't stand up off the table or a chair without both of my hips dislocating. I couldn't sleep without them fully dislocating. I was in a hip immobilizer brace for a couple months, and then I slept in it for a couple more months, and I'm not in that anymore. I had absolutely no core strength. I couldn't lift my head off the pillow. I'm so much better than I was a year ago. It really is incredible, how far I've been able to come. I think it's definitely really important to look back sometimes and appreciate your progress, and I think that maybe the last few days I've been forgetting to do that. So I am really, really making an effort to appreciate all of the things that I can do, all of the improvements that I have made, and all of the things that haven't gone wrong. I feel like in situations like this, when we don't really have a choice over what's going on with our bodies, we do have a choice on how we react to it and our attitudes. And right now, I am choosing to be appreciative and thankful, and I am gearing up for another round of surgery. I do have a lot of faith in the surgery and in my surgeon, so I am just looking forward to seeing what improvements we can make. The biggest thing that I'm really hoping is that my swallowing will improve. As you guys know, I have been struggling with my swallowing for a long time, and that is one of the main reasons that I am dependent on a feeding tube. Since I started wearing my brace again, and since my physical therapist has really been focusing on my neck, I have had these very brief moments of good swallowing. So I cannot even imagine how wonderful and miraculous it would be if I could start integrating food back into my life. Obviously, the other challenge is the mast cell. Monday, I am having my 3rd dose of Xolair. I can't even believe that 3 months have already gone by. I hear like the 3rd or 4th dose is when you really start to feel an improvement. So, like, imagine if the Xolair helps and the surgery helps my swallowing, like, I could actually eat again, which is something that I hadn't written it off. It's always been the goal to get back to food, but at the same time, I've always tried to remain realistic. But I'm really feeling hopeful about that, so we'll have to see. You never know. Well, that was good while it lasted. I really wish that the effects of the physical therapy could last a little bit longer. Today has been a really rough day, but I did anticipate this. I got a lot of the things that I needed to get done last night, so I'm feeling good about that. Now I can just kind of rest, which is good because that is what my body is telling me to do. It's getting difficult with having such bad nausea. I just feel so motion sick and nauseous from all of the vertigo. I haven't really been able to run my feeds as fast as I was doing, and I haven't been taking in as many calories as I was, which isn't good because I was already only taking in about 18 or 1900 calories a day, which isn't a whole lot. And it took me about a year to work up to that, and I was finally stable with my weight. So I'm trying really hard to get in as much as I can, but at the same time, I don't want to overdo it and then lose it that way. I just, above all else, want to do everything I can to take care of my body and just do the best job I can. So sometimes I just don't really know what the best route is. Do I stick it out or do I play it safe? I don't know. I don't know. But I am just going to try to rest. And so I will check in with you guys later. I have been so tired these last few days. I don't think that I have ever honestly slept this much in my entire life. I have literally slept the last 2 days away. I only get up to take my medicine and switch out feeds, and then I fall back asleep. I haven't started the amitriptyline yet or anything, so it's not that. On one hand, it is so nice to finally be getting some sleep after so long, but on the other hand, I just feel like there's so much stuff I want to get done and that I'm like missing out on so much. I just like cannot pull myself awake. Good morning, it's Friday. I am just getting ready for PT today, but there was a couple things that I wanted to talk about really quick that you guys asked me to comment on. The first being the reclassification of the types and the diagnostic criteria. I'm going to be really honest, I haven't really read a whole lot about it. I did watch a really great video that was done by Lara Bloom and Dr. Funcamano. I will link that below. That has a lot of information in it. But other than that, I haven't really gotten too much into it just because my vision has been so poor and it's been difficult for me to use my phone or computer. But I know that a lot of people are very nervous about it. I think a lot of people are worried that they won't be able to get a diagnosis that they have been searching out for a long time. And then there's people who are diagnosed who are afraid they're going to lose their diagnosis. And I think that those are both really valid fears that we should be talking about, because a lot of us feel a lot of validation and community when we get a diagnosis. And a diagnosis also opens a lot of doors to applying for a disability or seeing different specialists. Honestly, hearing the criteria, I'm not even quite sure where I stand on that scale. For those of you who don't really know what I'm talking about, there was a meeting with all of the specialists in the EDS field from across the world, and they got together and had a talk about precision of diagnosis. And they were particularly targeting the hypermobility type, as that is the one that we haven't identified a specific gene mutation for. Those of us who come up negative on all of the genetic testing just get lumped into the hypermobility type. Now the diagnosis for hypermobility type is a lot more rigid. Those who don't meet all the criteria are then sorted into other categories of hypermobility. And I really appreciate that they are recognizing that hypermobility is a spectrum and it affects a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. It's not necessarily just this, this, and this, but these other categories no longer bear the name Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And people are rightly concerned that their diagnosis is not going to be taken seriously. Even though so few doctors know and understand Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, even fewer are going to know about these new hypermobility spectrum disorders. I don't really have any advice. As much as I want to say, oh, just don't get caught up on all the labels, that doesn't matter, your symptoms are still the same, whatever you have is still the same, you're going to still treat it the same. And that's totally all true, but unfortunately, labels do matter. And for a lot of us, it's part of our identity. I guess we just have to hope that through spreading awareness, these things do become more mainstream and more doctors will be willing to learn and listen. And the other thing I want to talk about is a bit more exciting. They have officially announced the date and the location of the annual Ehlers-Danlos Society Learning Conference, and it's in Vegas, baby! It is, I believe, September 6th and 7th. If I am wrong, I will write it down here. I am not 100% sure that I will be going. I really want to. I plan on it. I think that would be great. I would love to meet some of you guys, but I'm not committing to anything right now because it's a bit far in the future and I have a lot going on right now, and it really depends on if my mom or my family can get away from work and school. It just depends on a lot, but I am super excited at the thought. Definitely let me know if any of you guys are planning on going. Maybe we could do like a meetup and it would be super fun. Oh shoot, anyway, I have to get going. I have to get ready. I'm gonna be late. Bye. I went to PT this morning and my physical therapist did her magic, but something really weird happened when she took off my neck brace. I started to feel really weird and she goes, "Did you know that you're having like a really bad mast cell reaction right now?" I was like, yeah, that's what it feels like. I got like really blotchy and really flushed and red and like adrenaline, heart rate, stomach, like everything just from taking off the brace. If you guys don't know much about mast cell reactions, I've talked about them a lot in the past, but I've mostly talked about them in conjunction with my fragrance allergies and my problems eating and being around food. But the truth of the matter is there are a lot of different things that can cause a mast cell reaction. Stress, extreme emotions, surgery, and apparently instability. That was pretty weird, and now I'm under strict orders not to take off this brace, which I wasn't really gonna do anyway. My therapist also said that my excess sleeping is actually a good thing because it means that my body is responding well to her treatment. My body was in such a state of fight or flight all the time, so much adrenaline, wasn't getting enough sleep, wasn't digesting, and now my body is switching into the rest and digest cycle where I'm catching up on sleep, and hopefully I'm going to start being able to digest a bit better. Yeah, so now the countdown really just begins to when we leave on Thursday. There's a lot of things I feel like I have to get done and a lot of packing. It kind of stinks, like when you're least able to pack and travel is when you have to. I think I'm going to end this vlog here because I think it's gotten pretty long and I'm going to have to edit that down. If you guys liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. If you want to be notified when I upload a video, there's like a little bell icon next to my name and they'll just shoot you an email. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.